Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Andrea Hack. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful Wednesday. It's very nice and sunny here in St. Louis. Welcome, everyone in the chat. We've got Ed. Welcome back, Ed. Jennifer, Sam, Ekrami, Andrew. Welcome, guys. And thanks for coming back. So I've got another very fun challenge for you guys today. We only have, today is day 6 of our 9 challenges. So we only have 2 more days after this. Bittersweet. All right. But if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know during the stream. I'll be checking that chat. So just throw them there and I will check. All right, let's go ahead and hop on over to behance.net/challenge/XD and we'll see what today's challenge is. As always, you can sign up with this big blue button right there, and each day you'll get notified of what our new challenge is. So we can scroll on down here and we'll see which one was unlocked today. So today we're going to be working on multiple interactions. This one's very important, I feel like. You could use this a lot. Not just for something augmented reality related, but really in any interface. So I want you guys to create a bedside table interface where users can adjust things like lighting, maybe like opening and closing your curtains, maybe mattress temperatures, all the fancy things that you've always wanted to be able to control while you're like laying in bed, too lazy to get up. So this is sort of like, think of a tablet or something augmented reality related that would maybe be just sitting on your nightstand that you can change all of those things right there. And we're going to be using multiple interactions to prototype different actions for each option. And I'll show you all about how to do that. So if you want to, you can grab the starter file from Dropbox, just hit download, direct download, and that will give you a file that looks like this. And I'll hop in here in just a second, but that's what your starter file will look like. So if you want to kind of follow along with me, you can grab that. And as always, if you want to kind of rewatch anything that I'm doing, you didn't quite catch anything, or you just missed each day, you can always rewatch the videos here, or we've got them up on YouTube too. Okay, also, you can, if you are not already a member of Discord, I highly encourage you to join, because after you're done creating all of this amazing work, I encourage you to post your work there, whether it's like a prototype or even just a screenshot or a link to the work on Behance. We can give you feedback on Discord. So this is, let me pull it up. This is the link to Discord, bit.ly/XD Discord. So you can sign up there. We've got about 43,000 of you guys already. I think it's like 44,000 already, which is amazing. So just to kind of highlight a few of the important channels over here, make sure you're putting your work. If you do want to submit anything just for us to review, you can put it in this current challenge channel. And I really have been blown away by all of the work that you guys have been creating these 2 weeks. Since it is like augmented reality theme, you guys have been just kind of going crazy like with your creativity, and I love it. And what else? The Creative Challenge channel, if you want to see when I'm going to be live, so every day at 2 p.m. Pacific, so you can check up here. And if you have any questions about anything I did on the live stream or anything XD related or design related, just put it in here, ask a question. And then you can see what mentors are online over here. And yeah, I encourage you just to maybe try to meet someone new, introduce yourself if you're new over here. Lots of great conversations going on in Discord all the time. So let me give you a preview of what we're going to be creating. So I've already created this project and I've uploaded it to my Behance. Got to scroll down a bit. So this is what we're gonna be creating today. So sort of think augmented reality from your bed and clicking each of these different features. So maybe closing the curtains, turning on and off the lights, setting the lights to like dim or not, setting a fan. There wasn't a picture of a fan in here, so we're just gonna pretend like it's right there. So things like that, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop on into my starter file. Welcome everyone who's just joining. Marie Julie, you had some awesome work this and last week. You were doing so great. Nishant, hey Nishant, Jennifer, welcome guys. Okay, cool. So this is our starter file, and like I mentioned, bedside table interface. As always, I've got some inspiration here. The resource booklet, if you want to look through those. I'm sure you know by now, I've been harping on those a bunch. You can click through those tabs. And then at the bottom here, I always like to give you guys some tips for whatever is directly related to today's challenge. So one thing, just think of this as like a central hub for creating a perfect night's sleep. And maybe some tasks that you might want to add, some features that you might want to add to this interface would be just anything that you hate having to get up and do when you're already like cozy in bed. So maybe like turning on and off the lights, closing your blinds. If you have a humidifier, maybe setting that. And then if you have depending on the amount of features, I guess, if you have quite a lot, you might want to consider adding presets so that the user doesn't have to sit there and like adjust a bunch of sliders and stuff each time. So that would be really handy if you want to add that too. So, okay, this is what I am starting with. And I just found this image from Adobe Stock. That's what I've kind of been doing these 2 weeks, just searching on Adobe Stock. There's a lot of great pictures here. So I just searched like bedroom, modern, and just chose something that it might be helpful to start from, like if there's a photo with both night and day, that's what I used for mine. So for instance, if I want to be able to change the lights here, I also have, let me pull up this picture as well, have a night version. Or you could do that in Photoshop if you want to go the extra mile. But just something you might want to consider if you're looking at Adobe Stock. So I've got some components over here. And again, augmented reality, I want to keep this pretty minimal as far as the interface because I want whatever's coming from the camera feed to be like have the most color and be giving me the most attention. So just really keeping most other things pretty minimal, mostly white, just augmenting it just a tad bit. So let's see. I have some little items over here. So let me just grab these. So we've got like a fan image. And let me just grab the whole thing. Okay. That was my already created one. So, all right, let's just paste these in here. And all these are, it's just a rectangle. Let me just like double click in here into this group. So I've just got a rectangle and then I just copied and pasted an emoji on top of each square and then just added some text, curtains, bed temperature or temperature if that's something that you want to adjust. Maybe a fan. There wasn't a great fan emoji, but let's pretend that looks like a fan or wind or something. And then something like lights. And then below that, I just added like two circles right on top of each other just to kind of indicate where this is coming from, our augmented part. And then this, I'm imagining that this is sort of a tablet. So if you want to do a tablet size, just hit your artboard over here and then you can scroll and grab whatever size you want. I would usually do like iPad, and then this would probably be best as horizontal, I would think. So you just would rotate it right over here. So that's how you would create that. Now, so right now it's daylight, so I've named my artboard just day, and maybe from here we want to do several different interactions at once. So multiple interactions, that's what we're focusing on today. So maybe when I start dragging this little circle down, I want to see a slider. So that's one thing I want to do. And then maybe another is when I click into it, I want to be able to see a pop-up and just be able to like click through some different options. So that's two. And then maybe another one, going even further, is when I click this or even just say something, I want to do it by voice. So just say, turn off the lights. So we're gonna add several different interactions here. So we've already got our first artboard pretty much already laid out. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to be doing auto animate to add a little slider. So just select that whole artboard and then Command C to copy, Command V to paste. And then in here, I've actually got hidden a slider. So I'm going to bring this up. And the reason I hid this is because in order for auto animate to kind of know that this slider should appear from one artboard to another, we have to hide it in the first one. But basically, the main reason behind these is that the layers need to be named the same, and it needs to be able to find where that layer is from artboard to artboard in order to change just the transparency. So, and then we can get rid of this one, and by get rid of, I mean just turn down the opacity. Actually, just this outer circle, we can turn down the opacity. But I do want to keep this little slider, or this little inner circle here. And I'm just going to bring this down all the way down here. So now, just when I tap that first circle and just start dragging it down, that inner circle will disappear. So let's go ahead and prototype that just as it is right now. So what you're going to want to do, you have to double click or triple click, however many clicks you need to do, so you're selecting just the inner circle right there, not the outer circle, because we don't want the outer circle to move. So just the inner circle, and then drag over your little blue trigger. And for the trigger, we're going to say drag, and the action, it's already guessed correctly, we're going to do auto animate. So let's go ahead and preview this just as it is. So make sure your first artboard is on the home, little indicator, so it starts there. And we can play, and when we select this little guy and start dragging down, we'll see we get it auto animates for us. Now the only other thing that I maybe need to change here is we obviously need to turn down the actual lights, so that's one thing. And then maybe we want to just get rid of these other little pop-ups while we're focusing on the lights. So I'm just going to bring these down to 0. And let's go ahead and create a new artboard. So just Command C and Command V to just paste it right next to it. And then in the background, I want to change the lighting all the way to down. So this is where our other photo comes in. So we can just copy this and just select anywhere in the artboard and paste. So it'll paste it exactly in place. And then we can right click and say send to back. And then we can just delete that previous one. And same on this little clipping mask that I have here. I just need to double click in here and then I'll paste this, just making sure it's aligning exactly where the one behind that is. And then sending that back as well. And I'll delete, make sure I'm selecting the right thing. Delete that other image. So now, when we come from here to here, it just looks like the lights were automatically magically turned off. So what I can do from this artboard to this artboard, I want it to be immediate. So let's go ahead and go back into the prototype tab, and we'll just select the whole artboard, and we'll make this a time trigger. And then we'll just put the time trigger to 0. So a delay of 0 seconds, and auto animate, it doesn't really matter if it's a transition or auto animate, it'll be the same. And the duration will be 0 seconds. So let's go ahead and preview this again. So now when we drag down, we'll see we start getting our slider. We also start seeing the other little squares going away. And when we release, then the lights are off. So it looks like it's just, ooh, magic. Okay, so that's one thing that we want to do. But maybe we want to add another interaction here. I'll go ahead and get rid of this one. And let's go into the design tab. So maybe we want to, when we click this, we have a little pop-up and it shows us a few different options like off, or maybe something intermediary like dim or just on. So let's create a new artboard. I'm going to copy and paste this, and I'm just going to put it kind of right in line with this one, so we know we could go either to the top version or to the bottom version. So now in this bottom version, again, here, I just want to bring these down to transparency just so we don't see them. And I'm going to bring in just another little setting. So, and I'll bring this like right here. So I want this to show up. This is just, it says on, dim, and off. So those are a few different settings in case we want to get a little bit more granular. And this, how I made it is, let's see, we use the background blur right here. So you can change this to super like blurred, or, you know, change the brightness if you want. I think that looks okay though. And then maybe in place of this little circle, we want to add just a close icon instead. So I'll drag that over from my components. Got this already handy. And I will just get rid of this one and place this one right on top. Okay. And then from this one to this one, so let's get in really close here and we can kind of see what's going on a little bit closer. So from this one to that first animation, I have to double click into that circle. So we already did the drag down, but you'll notice that we also have this little plus icon right here. So that means that we can now, and this is like relatively a new feature, now we can also add another interaction. So you can either just tap to add, or let me just go back, or I have to double click down again, or we can also start dragging. So let me just drag this over to this bottom artboard right here. So now on this trigger, if we want to change it, we can add a tap trigger. Now, one thing you'll notice is that we no longer have the drag option available. That was one thing I think someone had a question about. So if you already use the drag trigger for like this one up here, this interaction up here, you can't use it for this one down here as well, because you can't have two of the same at the same time, if that makes sense. So we're going to do the tap, and that will open this one up. So let's go ahead and preview this just so we can test it out, see if it works right. So we can either drag down or we can tap to open that up, and we've got our little close button right there. Cool. So that is working well. So maybe from this artboard now to the next one, we want to add, maybe we want it to be go from on to dim. So actually we need to change this. Let's go ahead and just copy this, paste it right here. Got some extra little triggers there. And this one actually should be on instead of dim. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of inverse those a little bit. So this can be 100%. And then these two, all I'm doing is just using the Pathfinder tool, just so it kind of cuts out the text there. And this I'm just going to turn off the Pathfinder tool. And I'll bring this one down again to 21%, just so it looks like on is selected. So then from this artboard to this artboard, let's say we want to select dim. So let's go into our prototype tab and we'll select dim. And then we can just use the tap trigger. So super simple. Just a tap, and then we'll get to this artboard. And then to this one, maybe we want the lights to actually look like they are dim. So I need to grab the dim one. Got some photos down there. So let's just bring this to the back. So same kind of the way we did it with that first super dark photo. And then we have to replace the one in the clipping mask as well. Okay. So now it looks dim. Cool. So that is a little foray into multiple interactions. So again, if you want to not just do like a slide, multiple trigger, let me zoom in a bit and we can see. We did the drag trigger going down for this one. We did the tap trigger. You could also add another one if you want to do, you know, voice. You can see we've also got another plus right here. You can add another one. It could be keys and gamepad or voice. But each time you add another one, you can't use that one anymore. So just something to keep in mind. And then let me Command S to save this, and we can look at this other one that I just kind of already made. I added a curtains interaction as well on this one. So like maybe here, we change it to dim or off or on. We can close it if we want. Maybe we press curtains. Let me go to the curtains artboard. Where's that one? This one. If you want to like close the curtains, just press that and we can drag those down. So for this one, I did go in and Photoshop like these curtains closed, just like clone stamped a bunch of curtains. So you don't have to do that, like photoshopping if you don't want to, just something kind of extra. But this was a fun one, I think. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. So let me save, and as always, if you want to export your prototype as an MP4, just go up here to preview, and then while you're clicking around, just make sure you have this record button selected, and it will export it as an MP4. So I don't want to save that. So let's go ahead and go over into Behance. And as always, I know I always harp on this, but be sure you go over into your settings tab and then go into that discoverability tab and add your keyword XD daily challenge so we can find your work and give you feedback if you'd like it. And you can add some other stuff like project description, tag, what tools you used and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And now I'm gonna look at some of you guys' work. One of my favorite parts. So I usually just search XD Daily Challenge here. Let me refresh to see if there's anything new. Ooh, there are 2 new. And I sort by most recent. So I've got 2 already pulled up. And these are in no particular order. This was the garden interface from the other day. And this is by Alexis Bradley. And I love this one because she actually went the extra mile to show a video and like adding the augmented reality pieces on top of it. So let's take a look. So we sign in. This is cool. Garden view, and then we've got all of the water levels and such. And each of those little names are like sitting on top of each of the plants. I thought that was so cool. And I'm not sure how she did this in like After Effects or Adobe Aero or some other kind of app, but this looks awesome. I love that so much. So thank you for sharing that one. This was Alexis. And this one was Nishant. I think I saw you in the chat. Augmented reality car challenge. So let's scroll down and watch the demo. And I believe this one had some voice, so we'll see if my microphone can pick it up or not. So driving, and then we've got some notifications up here. That's cool. And the navigation over here pops up. Looks awesome. That's cool. Got the mile per gallon over there. Yeah, I think there's some voice, but I don't think the microphone can hear it. Temperature, we see the car coming. That is so neat. I love this so much. You guys are so creative. Maybe we have time just for like one more. Let's see. Ed, I just saw you were watching, Ed, or you were in the chat. Okay, so Ed, this is the temperature or thermostat one. Let's take a look. So we got the fan strength weekly stats. That's kind of cool. Got the number counter there. Awesome. And humidity over here. I like the different shapes that you used. Very unique, you know? Very cool. All right, guys, that is about all the time that I have left for today. We only have 2 more days after this, so be sure to stay tuned. You guys are doing a great job. I'll be in Discord after this, check in and giving you guys feedback if you'd like it. So hop on over there after this. And don't go anywhere, because in about 5 minutes, we've got Kyle Webster doing a draw along. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.